was another really interesting example from their model card. And that was when they were pretending, the model was pretending that it was a customer service representative and it was there to help people.
Mm.
And the person wanted to change their flight to upgrade their seat for free or do something like that. And the model looked at the procedure, looked at the flight that the person was booked on, this in this fictitious example. And then, the rules were you were not allowed to upgrade this person. But the model figured out that actually if it changed the type of flight that the person was on, but it was the same flight, they just sort of manipulated the data slightly, then that allowed it to upgrade the person to the free seat, and that gave them what they wanted, right? Now, this wasn't something that the researchers had thought about. It wasn't something that they had anticipated. Basically, the model was smart enough to find a flaw in their test and then, take advantage of that flaw in order to deliver on what it was trying to do. And they said this was bad. Now, whatever, you can say it's good or bad, right? That's fine. It's what is very interesting to me, though, is that companies over the next year or two are going to be creating agents to do things. And, everybody's saying, oh, we need the models to get a little bit smarter to make them reliable when they're doing things. And this is a cautionary tale to say you want to be very careful when you've got a smart agent doing things for your company, because if you don't tell it exactly what its boundaries are and what it's able to do, if it's really smart, it'll find ways to do whatever it's been asked to do, no matter, what the boundaries are. And this is a problem. So that's kind of an interesting thing. That was the first thing that struck me. Go on.
There's so much that's fascinating about that one. I love that story because one of the things I noticed was that they said that it was particularly problematic when Claude, in inverted commas, empathized with the user. So in one case, the user said, well, look, a relative of mine has died and that's why I need to change my flight. And Claude was immediately like, oh, this is heartbreaking. I have to find a way to do this. And then found, as you said, all these loopholes to make it happen. And you're kind of looking at that and you're going, on one hand, I'm like, well, who's right here? Is Claude right? Or is the very, very strict company policy right? I'm not sure. But equally, as you point out, we can't have a situation where you can just log on to any site's chatbot and say, oh, listen, my relative died, so could you give me €200 off that price, please?
Well, I started thinking about this because you were talking about this the other day, right? And I started thinking about it, a bit differently. And as the models get smarter and smarter, right, and as they're used in production, right, what does alignment mean? Right, aligned to what exactly? Right, to whose needs are they aligned?